Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast in which we celebrate and discuss the film Raiders of the Lost Ark 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm intern Jerry Porter.
And we're excited once again to introduce our new theme song, written and performed by the legendary Kevin Murphy, whom you may remember as Tom Servo from Mystery Science Theater and from his current work on Riff Tracks. We're very excited about our new song.
How in the world did you ever, like when you were in college watching Mystery Science Theater 3000, did you ever think, oh, yeah, that robot over there, he's going to write me a song for something called the podcast? That's incredible.
I did think that, actually, but yeah, we are very thankful, and thank you, Kevin Murphy.
And also, not just it's cool that he did it, but the song's awesome. I listened to it like just for the heck of it.
Oh, I do too.
It sounds beautiful.
It's gorgeous, and it works on so many themes from John Williams. It's great. But anyway, back to the task at hand. Minute 113 begins with our three animal handlers and ends 1 minute later with the model makers. Yeah,
this might be the most important minute of the credits, if not the movie. We get three major Lucasfilm movie guys. And the first of those is Ben Burtt, our hero, Ben Burtt, the unsung hero, the secret hero.
The master of the toilet lid, the Honda Civic.
Yeah, the casserole, the skateboard, the meat-filled jacket.
And I wonder how his didn't come first, like how it just didn't, like the credits didn't start. Thank you, Ben Burtt.
Yeah, a Ben Burtt joint.
The frying coconut.
Yeah, Ben Burtt frying coconut.
I don't think he did that, did he?
Not yet.
Like he did.
Yeah.
If he's
You're
listening.
giving him ideas, yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the house, Mr. Burtt. Go with it.
Yeah, I like we've got our three animal handlers, Michael Culling, Steve Edge, and Jed Edge. Jed was famous for going to his interview with Steven Spielberg with a cobra, and Steve asked him, could you please keep that away from me? But he liked him so much, he became the snake guy for the movie, and he brought his son Steve along as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, and apparently he also did animal handling for Star Wars, and I'm not quite sure what that entailed, but maybe snakes in Dagobah.
Oh, I bet it totally was. Yeah. That makes sense. In fact, didn't John say that there was like a legless lizard in Dagobah? I don't think I'm kidding. I think he actually did. He might have said that. He might have.
Well, there's one way to find out.
Nope.
I think we did just find out.
Yeah. Yeah. We get Ralph McQuarrie.
Yeah.
We wouldn't know what anything looked like without him. We first love him from Star Wars. You know what? I didn't even bother looking him up. I didn't even look up his credits because he's just so ubiquitously awesome.
Yeah, but it's funny because he didn't do much for this movie. I think he did the illustration of the Ark in the Bible that Porkins looks at.
Yeah.
But I think that's all. I don't think he did storyboards or concept art for this movie.
God, I think you're right.
I think that was all Jim Steranko.
So yeah, but did he draw the actual Ark of the Covenant with the Hebrews, like the
the fire, lightning, power of God? Yep, that was him.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't need to draw anything else.
Right. But yeah, I had a Return of the Jedi portfolio of his artwork from Return of the Jedi, and it was one of my prized possessions for a while. It was super cool. Just like his paintings of stuff.
I had a question about him specifically. You guys remember that when you'd go get the Star Wars cards or Empire Strikes Back cards, and on the Empire Strikes Back cards, they would always have the Ralph McQuarrie, like they'd throw it in as one of his paintings. Like it would be, you'd get a set of like 10 or 15 cards. And frequently there'd be a Ralph McQuarrie painting,
Yeah.
like an illustration. But did they ever do that on the Star Wars ones or in any of the other movies that he did with the card series?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't
And we're
remember.
probably getting letters.
Everybody thought I'd suck at this.
No, well, I'm just thinking. Like, I know I was more into. I was more actively collecting the Empire Strikes Back cards than I did the Star Wars cards. I'm sure that, like, they do like series and series and series of those things. So after they're a while,
Well,
they're
that's.
probably
I mean,
like,
that's. I
"Oh, we're
knew
running
you'd
out of
know.
Star Wars pictures.
You'd know exactly what I was talking about. But I'm not talking about the series and series and series and the redos and the 1997 throwbacks. I mean the original, when they originally came out. Yeah, you'd get the Empire Strikes Back cards.
It had a little gold like plate at the bottom,
Mhm.
like as
Right.
if it was a painting.
Mhm.
And I don't remember
I
that.
don't remember those from the original card series, the original movie.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't remember
Oh,
the
you mean
paintings
from
from
Star
Star
Wars or
Wars.
from-
Yeah, there might have
Yeah,
been,
I
but
don't-
they're not jumping out at me.
I'm trying to picture them as cards too, and I can't.
And I'm wondering, I don't remember that for Star Wars cards, and I don't remember it for Return of the Jedi one either. Except by then, I think I liked girls by then.
Right. You had cards of girls.
I do remember though, as a kid, like thinking Ralph McQuarrie's art was really disturbing, just because it didn't look quite like Star Wars. Like Darth Vader looked different, and C-3PO like everybody looked so different from the way it was in the movie. And as a kid, I just hated it. But then as an adult, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. One thing that's extremely cool about the show Rebels, we're only talking about Star Wars right now, by the way. But that's okay. The show Rebels that's on now, the cartoon, they a lot of the designs of like characters and ships and stuff are just leftover stuff from his Star Wars work that didn't make it into the movie, or that got designed to the point where it didn't look like that anymore. So you got like early versions of stormtroopers running around as like different kinds of soldiers. They're not stormtroopers, and like, different old cool ships and stuff. It's very cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Well,
And like one of the main characters is like what Chewbacca used to look like in like an early poster, like a concept art poster for Star Wars.
see, I'm with you, Pete. Those things used to scare the hell out of me. The Ralph McQuarrie paintings on that, and although I appreciate it now, at the time you're like, hell is this?
It's like
Yeah,
seeing
it's
your
like-
mom and she has a mustache.
There's like,
Well, you're
what
like-
do they call it? The uncanny valley, where something is realistic enough that it's disturbing, but not realistic enough to really ring true.
Yeah.
When you're like, I could have had a card of Chewbacca,
But what's that?
and instead I have this.
Wearing a vest. I'm uncomfortable.
Anyway, I was just curious because I know he's instrumental in so many of these movies.
Yeah, but yeah, the arc, that beautiful, beautiful old illustration, like sort of steel engraving of the arc, is his.
You know what's really cool? He also did he did some concept stuff for Star Trek: The Motion Picture that they didn't use at all, but it's like a weird like triangular sort of body for the Enterprise and stuff, and all this crazy things. It's like kind of neat. I love this guy.
We got some other good artists too. We've got Michael Pangrazio. He's come up a couple of times. He was the matte artist who painted the warehouse at the end with all of the crates.
Oh yeah.
He also did, like almost everybody else in this movie, also worked on Empire and Jedi, and he did, I think, some of the backgrounds for the Hoth stop motion animation battle stuff.
Oh, cool. It's so weird that somebody had to like make that stuff because The Empire Strikes Back didn't exist yet. They had to like make it. That drives me insane. We get Joe Johnston, who's listed here as an art director, visual effects. Yeah. And he has, he was like an original like ILM guy for Star Wars. Worked on all the Star Wars films. I keep saying all the Star Wars films. You know what I mean.
The real Star Wars film.
He directed The Rocketeer.
Yeah.
He directed Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. There's probably some other things in there. And then the first Captain America, the first Avenger, which I love. So he's doing all right. He's good. He's still with us. Still making stuff happen.
That's cool. We have a guy, Jim Kane. I don't know much about him. He's the Dolly Grip, but he just reminds me of our friend Jim O'Kane from the
I thought
airport
of that too.
minus the O. There's the matte painting supervisor, Alan Mae Lee. If you've ever seen his paintings, he paints really spectacular paintings, sort of the turn of the 19th and 20th century. just these gorgeous, beautiful, giant paintings of kind of street scenes or scenes of life at the turn of the past century. And he was the supervisor for all the matte painting in this movie.
Oh, I played my Tom, Jody, or Sam game for this minute. And there's a Samuel Comstock, but that doesn't count because my son's name is Sam, not Samuel. There's a Thomas Smith. I had a Tom Smith last minute. Now there's a Thomas Smith who's a production supervisor, and Tom Rossiter from Optical Lineup. So there you go. For those keeping score, there have been 3 Toms, no Jody, and no Sam yet.
There's also a Gerry. There's a Gerry Dunkley.
Well,
That's how I imagine you call yourself when you go down to Venice Beach and play basketball.
Get a lot of Gerry Dunkley.
My 2 favorite, my favorite names is I guess we're starting now.
Sure.
Yeah, well, one was Gerry Dunkley, and I thought, the Gerry part I understand because obviously I get that. But I thought, well, if my last name were Dunkley, how would life be different? It's like anytime somebody goes, "Hey, Gerry," that's the same. But when everybody said Mr. Dunkley, I mean, who knows what would have happened?
I would teacher.
I would think if the name Dunkley were connected with your name, your actual last name would be something like Dunk or Duncan or something, but you would somehow make it into Dunkley. Or people around you would call you Dunkley.
Say, call me Dunkley.
Yeah. Mr. Dunkle's my father. Call me Dunkley.
That's ridiculous. But the other name that I really enjoyed was Dr. Felicity Hodder.
Yeah.
I need a minute. Like Dr. Felicity. Yeah. Specializing in pleasure.
Oh, one name I liked it. If I had to choose one of these names, I like Howie Hammerman.
Oh yeah, I saw Howie.
That's
Hammerman.
a good one.
That is.
Hammerman. You have to pronounce it that way. It's not Hammerman. Oh, one thing I have to make. We talked about this a lot off the air. We realized that we made a big, huge deal in minute, 78, about haven't you got any breath in you? And we realized that unless you're on Facebook and a part of our listeners' crusade, you wouldn't have heard the upshot of that, like the fallout. And so, not to make you relive it, Gerry, but we had more than one German-speaking listener, like Doris Weiss, and there was another guy too. I'm sorry, I forget his name right now. But they confirmed that he is speaking German. He's not saying anything about breath. Regarding the breath in you comment from minute 78, Pat Roach's character is definitely speaking German, not English. My German wife might be able to translate. Shoot, I want to find Doris's too, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, here it is. Doris Weiss on August 17th, former and future guest of the program, explained the fight scene as she hears it. The fracas-seeking German Otto von Bluto says, "Have you got any breath in you?"
Stop it. That's not funny. That's never funny.
Oh, just let me live it for a minute. Oh,
Gerry,
my God.
What I was wrong. I'm sorry. I owe you a big apology, Gerry. Happy birthday.
Oh, my God.
Doris says, as Indy climbs up the plane to get to the pilot, Otto says, "Hey, slim one, come fight."
Slim one.
Yeah, come down now. And then he pulls Indy up after he punches him down, and he says, "Come here, I'm gonna punch your gob, I tell you."
I'm gonna punch your gob, I tell you. It's like his Popeye.
You know what? I don't mind being wrong. If that's the answer, I'm gonna punch your gob, I tell you.
Yeah. No,
I'm gonna punch your gob, I tell you.
I'm so relieved that it's actually that, and then it's not just like gibberish or something. Yeah. I mean, that's like really actually satisfying. And I have to say, in a way, Gerry, I'm a little sad that we finally figured this out, because it was like a fun little tantalizing, annoyingly unsolvable thing for a long time. And
I feel like you opened up the ark and there's sand inside.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Our friendship is slipping through my fingers. But there you go. And Jared took it. He took it in stride. He screamed his head off on Facebook, and it was funny. My son was imitating that today, actually.
Well, we wanted to talk about a couple of big questions, like, remember that monkey?
No. Next.
Yeah. No, I thought, which of the characters is the most, this is basically directed at you, Pete, and you're going to have like 4 answers, but which of the characters would you say is most unsung?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I think it's a no-brainer for you, Pete.
Well, I mean, my obvious answer, I guess, would be Barranca.
Yeah.
Yeah, the man who did his very best to save the archaeological artifacts, the historical relics in the Chachapoyan temple at the beginning, and paid with his life. I guess hero Barranca.
And gets labeled a villain by most people.
Yeah.
For all his efforts. Yeah.
And was he Belloc's first victim in this movie?
Yeah, I guess that we see, yeah.
Yeah.
And none of this Forrestal business. Stop that. That doesn't make any sense.
I just imagine Belloc's hanging outside the cave for like months and months and months and months, waiting for some, Ivy League stiff to...
Wait, but it can't be Ivy League if it's in California, can it?
No,
stop
you're
it,
right.
stop it,
It's
stop
got to
it,
be
stop it,
Ivy
stop it,
League, so you
no,
guys
no,
must be
no.
wrong.
Safe zone, safe zone, safe zone. Well, I mean, but you were a staunch Barranca fan. Has any of that changed?
No, not at all. I especially like the more I watch this movie and the more you see some of the kind of questionable decisions Indy makes with regards to his fellow human beings and sort of archaeological historical treasures, I think Barranca shines brighter and brighter.
Tommy?
Mine's a little obvious too, but I mean, because people like this guy, but he's incredible. He's not just cool, he's incredible. I'm going to say Katanga. He's not in the movie that much. He's only got, we covered him in like less than a week, I think. All his scenes. Maybe a little over a week, but still. He goes above and beyond. He could have given up Indy at any point. He could have given up Marion. I mean, he kind of, he has her snatched away from him, but he tried. And he's awesome. He sees people. I guess. Well, I don't know. We never asked this. Is he getting paid in any way, Katanga? Do they have to pay him to like cart them to England, or is he just kind of like?
Is Sala get screwed again? Like, does Sala have to cough up the money now?
I don't know.
We never talk about whether or not, what does Sala get in any of this at all?
He might have the headpiece that he can.
What are you going to do? Put it on eBay?
Probably.
As a son nobody likes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I got to go home to him. Hooray.
I remember Sala's kid. Oh my God, he kept going out to the bunk bed.
Go in your room and be depressed. Just don't do it in front of me.
Yeah, we don't know, but that's an excellent question. I mean, we don't know what Marion gets at the end of the movie other than she's like, well, I know what I have here.
Well, she was promised 5,000 clams, so she better at least get that.
Good point. Good point. We know that there's a settlement, and although monetarily the settlement is fine, but the situation is unacceptable.
Right. Totally.
But Indy always has so many dollar signs in his eyes. I just wonder, that must be a big settlement. Like, that must be a nice monetary amount.
Yeah.
And I mean, you get the impression that is Marcus included, or does he not care at all?
Hey, what did Marcus get out of that at all? Like, he was expecting to get the Ark in his museum, and now he's got nothing. Like, Indy at least got paid. Did Marcus get paid in some way?
Well, see, I'm assuming, yeah, they got plenty of money, and they both just took the next plane to Marrakesh, and they just kind of stocked up for the museum.
Yeah, maybe. But those.
Well, and we don't know. It doesn't appear that Sala gets anything. It doesn't appear that Katanga gets anything.
Yeah, I mean, what would they have paid Katanga with? Unless they promised him 15 when they reach Alderaan.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about this, and I'd also file this under one of the biggest revelations that we were talking about in previous minutes. But for unsung people, I'd choose Omar.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's so unsung, it's not even a note.
I mean, people were posting pictures of him and like the name of the actor. So wait, Omar's in the movie, and the guy played him.
Right.
I thought he was just this like faceless, helpful guy who has a garage.
Well, I like that this is the second epiphany you've had, Gerry. You've gone from who the ship horn is Omar to Omar's the unsung hero of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, first of all, I had no idea that he even existed. That's how unsung he is. And second of all, he's the linchpin of actually getting the arc. I mean, once Indy hijack and commandeers the truck to Omar's garage, it's like that's where they hide it. And I assume that's where they make the preparations to get it on the Bantu wind in safety. And that's also where Sallah has his dalliance with Marion.
Right.
100%.
Yeah. That's a big figure. And I didn't even know until I watched it this time, like the 118th time, that there's a guy named Omar.
Yeah.
So, but there is one little asterisk.
Okay.
And it's for me unsung hero, but I still am a little funny about we I don't want no one sold anybody out on the Bantu wind. I don't know if there was some duplicity. Could it have been at Omar's garage?
Oh, stop it. Come on. All those guys, the mangoes and the dancing, nothing but happy.
All right. You know what? Forget it. The Nazis just got lucky and they checked all the ships.
Yeah.
They're very efficient people.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Well, good. Well, should we? You guys have anything else for this minute?
Not really. No, we could do this all day. We've been doing it for months.
We've been doing it.
No.
Well, Gerry, where would people go to find us if they want to tell us who their favorite unsung hero of this movie is?
Oh, well, then I would recommend going to the IndianaJonesMinute.com website, which has, Pete's Museum, which is amazing. And there's two wings, people.
It broke Christy Porter.
It did.
It broke her in half.
It broke my sister the same way Indy, like when he realized there's sand, he let out the little smirk. Or you could find us at on Facebook with the Indiana Jones Minute, and there's also the Indiana Jones Listeners Crusade, which you can come and talk about the podcast and what we're discussing now. And it's actually, there's a whole group of people that are discussing all sorts of ideas about Omar and hats and Bantu winds and everything. It's great.
Great. And you, listener, can join us tomorrow for minute 114 and our penultimate episode for this season of the Indiana Jones Minute.
Jones. And Pete, you're supposed to say "please do" after the pitch. Really awkwardly, really like unsubtle, really just like you clearly don't have anything else to say. You just throw that in.